A healthy afternoon, everyone. Magandang tanghali. Ma'am Betty and all our viewers, may mga nag-comment na thank you guys. Thank you, our Gen Z. So excited for this from Colleen. Thank you, Colleen. Hello, and kay Richian. Baka pamangkin ko yata ito, Gonzales. Di ba? Hi, Richian and Gonzales. Thank you guys for supporting our health revolution. Tama-tama. This is good for di ba, Ma'am Betty, young as you are, kailangan proactive tayo sa health.
Gusto ko yan, young as you are. Anyway, the only thing we should do is just be happy. So happy Wednesday to all of you. So once again, on Health Revolution, we try to bring you changes, diba? Yun yung focus ng show natin.
Yes.
And
be
the
proactive.
only thing constant is change, diba?
Yes.
And today, we are very, very fortunate na we are, some people would think na, paano na to, ganito ako. Well, I'm hopeless, diba? But what people do not realize is, with just a simple stroke of your hand and you change your penmanship, you will be able to change your character. Tsaka, all changes come from within Dapat gusto mo yun. And you also should also believe that you will change, diba? So habang nagsusulat ka. And so this is something not very common kasi, 'di ba? So even 'di ba ikaw Raymond nagulat ka di ba?
Oo kasi 'di ba communicate tapos sa Viber, tapos sabi sa Raymond, can you send me your email mo, signature mo and your penmanship, tagalan pa nga Pero nung binigay yung analysis, wow, sabi ko, ang galing, very scientific yata ito Talagang accurate siya, I must say, medyo nasa pool.
So,
pero in a positive way, way kasi ganda.
Oo.
Yes.
Ayan. So today we're very honored nga to have as our guest Mr. Jaime Siybauco of the Handwriting Institute of the Philippines. Madaming uses actually ang handwriting for example in the States, diba? Very hindi pwede mga discrimination ganyan. So if you know about handwriting, at least you get that initial insight on the person you are interviewing. So yung mga HR na mga tao, it would also be nice if you can learn handwriting analysis. Of course, hindi naman siya hindi siya foolproof na palaging tama, 'di ba? But at least it gives you a certain insight to it. And I hope Mr. Siybauco will have seminars about his handwriting analysis.
Very interesting. And actually kasi 'di ba, ngayon kasi ba iniisip na marami keyboard warriors na tao, keyboards na kaya medyo hindi na masyado nabibigyan ng pansin kung tawagin yung yung ating mga handwriting na penmanship, no? Pero kailangan siguro medyo balikan natin yung roots niyan, no?
Yeah, so, kasi mga bata ngayon mahirap din, di ba? Malay nyo, mga mommies.
Naku, lalo pa lang ngayon, blended learning. So, nasa bahay na.
At least nasa bahay, learn something about, di ba? How you can correct the personality of your children through handwriting.
Attention, shout out moms. Okay, so mga teachers too. Ito po, bago natin introduce, flash natin, let's all be informed, 100%. Hello, Charlotte.
Yes, correct. Knowledge is power.
Yan.
Hi, Joy.
Joy Luansin. Tsaka sabi nga, sino ba yung nagsabi? Socrates ba yun? Pagka if knowledge is power, knowing na yung mga hindi mo alam is also importante rin yan. It gives us more something more. Siyempre, you have to know your limitations. Parang sinabi ni Clint Eastwood, man has to know his limitations. Si Dirty Harry from the 70s. Si Make My Day. Okay, let's play. I'll play the music video tuloy lagi kasi guest musicians. The introduction video of our guest. Without further ado, eto pa. Here we go.
Our guest speaker is a businessman engaged in insurance, trading, marketing and management consultancy, event management, laundromat, business brokering, and many other ventures. He is known in the Philippines as an expert in handwriting analysis or graphology. He earned his degree in Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Communications Engineering from University of Santo Tomas. He is engaged as a strong leader in social and civic activities. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to our guest speaker, Mr. Jaime Siybauco.
Okay, Sir Jaime, James, however we pronounce it. Pasensya na, Americanized pala yung natin AI. Anyway, welcome, sir.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor.
Good noon, Jimmy. Long time no see.
Yeah,
Nice
long time no
Jimmy.
see.
Yeah, Jimmy
Yes,
is my nagsama kami niyan dati in registered financial planning. Hindi lang niya pinursu.
wow.
Hindi niya sinabi sa inyo, no, he's also registered financial planner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aside from the many activities that he does for civic organizations, and he also used to have a webinar. So I think Jimmy, you should also revive those webinars of yours. Kanina we were saying nga na what people do not know is handwriting analysis is also good for, sabi ko, yung mga HR. They can, when they hire people, sabi nga nung mentor ko in entrepreneurship, everything is in the hiring. Because I said,
Yes.
I'm having a lot of problems with the employees. Sabi niya, everything is in the hiring. So, if you know about handwriting analysis, it will be a great help, diba? Tama ba ako, Sir Jimmy?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, a lot of things can be, we can read a person like a book through handwriting or through their drawing. So, that's interesting. So, yeah, maybe,
Paano po ba ito?
hopefully I can come up with more
Yes,
seminars.
sir. Is this a science or paano po ba ito na-form itong Actually, this is new to me po Sorry. Pardon my ignorance on this.
Handwriting analysis or graphology is a science and an art. Okay? It's part of psychology.
Oh.
Akala ng tao hula ito, but it's not hula. Because the accuracy of the reading should be at least in the state is 85% accuracy. To say that you are a good graphologist.
Si Raymond nga, believe na nga sa'yo So,
kasi sinampol ako ni sir. Kasi last week pa tayo nag-schedule, nagko-communicate na kami. Actually, late ko pa nga napadala na email yung naghanap ako ng mga notes. Kung nakita ko, pagbasa ko yung notes pa pala ng meeting natin ng Betty na i-send ko. From last year, March pa yata, before we rolled out dapat sana, di ba, mag-roll out tayo ng campus tour natin ng Health Revolution. Ayun. Tapos yung balik sa akin na analysis, wow! February yata.
There's even something, kailan mahirap din, pag online, Jimmy? Kasi, di ba, tinitingnan din yung force ng pagsulat
Correct.
Hindi na na-hold yung paper.
Yes. So, graphology or your handwriting is three-dimensional. The force of the way you write is also part of the interpretation.
So, pag online, hindi siya makikita.
Hindi
So, iba pa yung actual na kasi may yung sabi yung diin, di ba? Like,
Correct.
po ba? Di ba yung pagka yung mag-verify yung mga NBI tsaka sa mga bangko, di ba? Kailangan yung stroke and yung diin, ganyan. So, mas diin ba? Mas madiba? Mas gigil ba yun? Mas may angst ba yung tao nun? Mas
Okay.
may hugot? Ganun ba yun?
Okay, good question. Okay, DJ Raymond. Number one, if your pressure is strong that you can feel the bottom, ibig sabihin malakas ang energy mo.
Okay.
But if you're writing yung period, yung dot, kapag natugas you break the paper, meaning that you are a very forceful person, especially when you're angry. When you write, your tendency is to be very strong. But if you're sick, medyo mahina ang pag-writing nyo, very weak. So again, our writing is controlled by our minds.
Correct.
So,
So today, but today we're going to talk about graphology, di ba? Yun, we would like people to understand that we can use the handwriting, the art of handwriting, to correct a personality or diba? Like for example, sabi ko yung mga mommies, they want to change some character traits in the children, ano. And then most especially now na mental illness, mental health is very important during the pandemic. Oo. Tsaka they might take the chance also na mas close ngayon yung mga moms kasi they're teaching at home so they can understand their kids better if they can, analyze and help the children. Para we do not come up with a new generation of children na puro games na lang. So Sir Jimmy, what have you noticed with the handwriting of children nowadays?
Okay, for parents, this is very important. Take a look at the handwriting of your children. If their handwriting is magulo, that is a problem. Ibig sabihin, when they grow old, they will be very impatient. And probably they will be very emotional. So, but ang maganda dito with graphotherapy, we can try to help them become better so that their future will be brighter. Okay, handwriting cannot predict the future, but we can change your present so that your future becomes better.
Okay. Alright, so meron tayong magandang takeaways ngayon. So I think si Sir Jimmy has a PowerPoint presentation. Are we ready to share it?
Can we start the PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Let's start with the first slide.
Can you see it now, sir? Yan po.
You know, graphology or handwriting was discovered, believe it or not, by monk. Okay. By monk. Mga pare.
Sila yung kasi syempre they're secluded, so they started studying,
monastery, no?
Well,
sila yung maganda ang handwriting,
Yeah, the history about why the monk discovered handwriting analysis and graphotherapy, because previously Bibles were written by hand.
Oh yeah,
written by hand. There was no printing press. So now the mga monks, they said, how come your handwriting is different from the other monk? So they discovered that personality and handwriting are connected to each other. Okay, so
this is an ancient, ancient science pa pala to, and art.
Correct.
I mean,
it's very old already. It started in Europe. So, but unfortunately, it's not yet so popular in the Philippines. But in Europe, yes, it's popular. In United States, yes, it's popular. So they hired graphologists to read prospective employees. They hired graphology to determine whether there's honesty or not in an employee or a situation. So these things we can actually, graphology or handwriting is the study of personality and emotion of a person through their handwriting. So now, right now we're going to talk of two topics: handwriting analysis and graphotherapy. So what is graphotherapy? Graphotherapy is, if we can change our handwriting, can it change our personality? The answer is yes. Can it help us to become better? The answer is yes again. Okay? By doing some correction on the handwriting. Can we go to the next slide?
Yes, sir. Oh, wow, si Idol to.
Si Jose Rizal, our national hero. So what he said, he died only once, and if we do not die well, we lose a good opportunity which we will never come up again. If one has to die, at least one must die in his own country, by his country, and for his country. This was wrote by Jose, wrote by Mariano Ponce. Now, do you see the handwriting of Jose Rizal?
Oh yes, the signature.
On the screen, it's on the left. Jose Rizal. Now, this is how we interpret his signature. Number one, if you notice, you can read his name, Jose Rizal. Ibig sabihin, Jose Rizal is what you see is what you get. Whoever he is at home and in the public, he's still the same personality. If you notice Jose Rizal, Jose and Rizal are connected to each other.
Yeah.
It means that he value closeness in the family. Okay? Now, what else can we see? So, his handwriting is his signature. Remember, signature in graphology is public image. So his public image, he can be trusted as a person. Now, one of the very interesting stroke here is the underline. Do you see the underline here? The underline, yeah, that one. The underline is what we call the leadership stroke. Ibig sabihin, Jose Rizal is a leader. But the funny thing of his underline, it is going to the left and going down. Meaning, Jose Rizal knows that he will be somebody, but he knows that he will not live long. So based on his signature, okay, so it's going down. Ibig sabihin, he knows that he will die. That's why it's written there that no, he's not suicide. He knows that he will die for his country.
Principal focused, no? He's really focused on that.
Yeah. So
at saka sir, if I may disrupt you sir, parang pakaliwa, no? Counter-cultural yung ano niya, yung slash pababa. It's going against the flow, di ba?
Yeah. Actually, in graphology, if you go to the left, it is meaning and down, meaning depressed or down or negative. Okay. So, but if you notice his handwriting is going up, that means he's positive about his what he's going to do. Let's go to the next slide. This is also President Donald Trump. Okay. This is former president. If you notice that his signature is sharp, parang sharp tip, di ba? So what does it mean? Ibig sabihin, he is a very aggressive person. Very, very aggressive person. So, very hard to deal with him because what he wants, he gets. Okay. So this one is very impatient. Very impatient, and he will fight for what he believes is correct. Okay, this is how we read. Let's go to the next. This is more interesting.
Okay.
The next slide.
Wow.
This is the signature of our President Duterte. Okay. Okay, let me analyze. Number one, you look at the R and Duterte. Have you seen the R and Duterte?
Yes,
it's joined together, meaning that President Duterte values closeness in the family.
Okay, good.
That's number one. Number two, if you notice the R is bigger than the Duterte. So what does it mean? He wants to prove to his parents who he is. Okay, that's why it's larger. Okay. What else can we see? Well, more or less you can read his handwriting. So what you see is what you get, like Jose Rizal, who he is at home and who is outside is still the same person. No pretense.
Transparent, transparent person.
Transparent. One of the most interesting about the signature of our president is the T. Can you show the T? The T bar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the T bar. The T bar is straight because there's two T in the third no? So the bar means that our president, when he say he will do it, he will do it.
Wow.
Okay? So he's determined because of this T bar. Now, in graphotherapy, how can I help the president just in case? If you notice the last T, the bar and the stem are a little bit far. Have you noticed? Can we?
They're not
connected. They're not connected.
For me, if I were to recommend to our president to lower the bar touching the stem. Okay, so what does that mean? Meaning his his uh his ideas will be more down to earth by that, because the upright is the more higher the ideal, more ideal is his ideas. Okay, so if it,
Idealistic.
so at least he will have less stress. Less stress. Okay. Now, what can graphology do? Graphology, we can determine a person whether it's he or she is depressed or suicidal. Okay, let me tell you a story. More than 20 years ago, when I started studying graphology, normally I treat my customers to a restaurant to eat. And there was one time I was treated my customer to Makati, in Makati. So normally, me, kapag 12 o'clock, parang Cinderella ako. Uwi na ako. So sinabi ko sa mga boss, uwi na ako 12 o'clock na eh. Okay, so now I asked the waitress, Miss, pwede ba yung bill? So the waitress gave me the bill. When I saw the bill, I was shocked. This is what I told the waitress. Sabi ko, Miss, huwag ka magalit Sinabi ng waitress, bakit sir? Bakit gusto mong saktan ang sarili mo? You know what that waitress did? She cried in front of me. I said, Miss, huwag ka umiyak dito, baka magulpi ako dito. Diba? So then she started telling the story. Sinabi, sir, sa totoo lang, after my work, 3 o'clock in the morning, sabi ko, I intend to jump. Suicide. Sabi ko, tumas ang balahibo ko. Sabi ko, bakit po? Sinabi, kasi my boyfriend broke up with me. Pero sabi ko, ganun ba? Sabi ko, can you tell me the story? Sinabi, yung boyfriend niya is one of the customers. But the problem is, the boyfriend says he wants to break the relationship. Why? It's because number one, the boyfriend has a family of his own. Okay, sinabi ng waitress, I love you not because of the money you support me, but because I love you. But sinabi ng boyfriend, I'm sorry, my children are growing up. I have to support them. So yung waitress was very depressed and suicidal. So I'd ask her, meron ka bang anak? Sinabi, meron, I have a daughter less than 10 years old. So I go, ma'am, if you were to jump this morning, ang problema, hindi ikaw, hindi kawawa ang anak mo.
Tama.
So sinabi ko, you are fortunate sa lahat ng customer sa itong restaurant na ito, I was able to see what you intend to do. Alam mo, mahal ka pa ng Diyos. Kung ako'y sa'yo, pag tapos ka ng trabaho, go to Baclaran Church and pray and thank the Lord that somebody was able to stop what you intend to do. So after that, I went home. The next day, I bought newspaper, all newspaper. I was looking if there was floating body sa Pasig. Buti na lang wala. But anyway, the story short, after probably a month, I went back to the restaurant just to see. So I was greeted by the waitress. Sabi ko, sir, salamat po ang ginawa mo sa akin. When I went to that restaurant, I have a problem when I was there. So when I entered the restaurant, lumapit ang manager, lumapit ang ibang waiter, lumapit ang kusinero, sir, pakibasa lang. Pasulan namin. Sabi ko, dapat libre na ako pagkain dito. No, but handwriting analysis can determine whether the state emotion of a person. So especially now,
it's not fortune telling, guys. It's not fortune telling.
It's not fortune.
It's a science based siya. What did you see in the handwriting at that time, Sir Jimmy?
Sa handwriting, well, I saw sadness. I saw sadness in the lady. For your information, right now, in Asian countries, we're talking about Asian, most of the people kapag may emotional or psychological problem, they would look for manghuhula, fortune teller, tarot reader, rather than life counselor,
Counselors, yeah.
life coach,
Life coach.
Mga science-based na mga consultancies, ayaw nila yan.
Kasi gusto sila mahula. But akala nila graphology is manghula. No, this is not. Actually, we are just reading and we're just projecting the mirror of the person. So, minsan, there was one time during the exhibit, may lumapit sa akin eh. Sabi ko, do you believe in Jesus Christ? Sabi ko, of course. Ano ba ito?
Akala psychic fortune teller si Sir Jimmy.
Actually, graphology is not a gift. It is a science and an art. You can learn graphology. It's just sixth sense. Do you know what sixth sense is?
Well, sabi nila, third eye yun, di ba, sir? Third eye na yun.
Third eye. No, in sixth sense is what we call common sense.
Common sense.
Common sense. Because when I teach later, I'll show you some slide.
Yes, sir.
You can analyze your own handwriting, okay, and determine whether there are facts or not.
We have a workshop. All right. Cool.
Well, it's part of the workshop, but again, graphotherapy is it's normally designed kasi different folks, different strokes.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Pala yung kasabihan na yun, no? Different strokes, different for different folks. Okay, sir.
So right now, before we
yes,
right
sir.
now, all over the world, we have a problem regarding mental health.
Yes.
So now the question is, can we help our people without spending much money? I said yes. So number one, how do we do it? Parents, number one, look at the way your children write.
Okay.
If their writing is terrible, that is a big concern.
My writing is terrible, sir.
No, your writing is okay, better.
Terrible means you cannot understand what the
Okay.
Remember
Paano yung mga doktor, sir? Paano yung mga doktor? Paano yung mga doctors? Terrible ang handwriting nila.
Okay, good question. Doctors are different. Doctors scribble because they think faster than the way they write. That's why they scribble.
Mga genius pala yung genius.
Yeah, they're genius. Okay. Now, in handwriting, especially parents, take a look at the handwriting of your children. If their handwriting are not legible, there's a concern. Especially when they grow up, they will become impatient and emotionally unstable. But there's a way of helping them right now during this pandemic. Right now, there's always an online schooling, right? So normally they have a lot of free time. How do I recommend these parents to help their children become better? Number one is go back to the basic of handwriting. So ask your children, if they have nothing to do, ask them to write longhand. When you say longhand, use cursive, longhand. So ask them to write.
Sa bookstore, there are a lot of those. Di ba, when we were younger, we used to copy, di ba? Copy yung...
Correct.
Meron pa yung may
Writing
lines.
exercises, writing notebooks.
The blue, red, di ba? Those with the blue, red, blue lines. And then I shoot mo within the line. Even yung half nung dapat maayos siya, di ba?
Unfortunately, there is very less notebook because we count mostly on computers and mobile phones.
Yes, keyboards na po.
Yeah. So, dapat handwriting. I remember when I was younger, when I have to write something like, pero yun sa Chinese naman, Chinese handwriting. Ano yun one sheet of paper, my dad would give me 25 centavos. Di sige, sulat ng sulat. So some people were saying, oh, your handwriting is good, di ba? But it actually is an exercise, di ba? When we write well, it also bodes well for us, di ba? Sir Jimmy.
Yes, correct.
The more you practice, the better you are at it. And I think I noticed, di ba, some schools, they put a lot of emphasis on the handwriting to the point na mapansin mo lahat sila pare-pareho ng handwriting.
Yes, an example is Montessori. They have their own calligraphy. Assumption also has their own style.
So kailangan
Well,
talaga they train their students.
Handwriting is very
Yung ganong klaseng style.
yes.
With their own parang signature nila. Parang
Yes.
brand,
Okay.
parang branding Parang branding.
Correct,
This is
correct.
our brand.
Okay, let me explain. Our
Yes, sir.
handwriting is our personal image.
Mhm.
Our signature is public image. So what you want to project, it will reflect in our signature.
Mhm.
So, but the true you is your handwriting. Okay, let's go back to the parents. Like what Betty said, ask your children to write.
Mhm.
Okay, now the next question, what should they write?
Mhm.
For me, I would suggest the Lord's Prayer.
Good.
The Lord's Prayer. Because, every time they write, the Lord's Prayer will be in their subconscious mind. So maybe when they grow up, they will remember the Lord's Prayer.
Oh,
And maybe they can find strength in the Lord's Prayer.
that's good.
Oh, good
Oh,
exercise.
it's a very good
no?
tip. Tsaka mahaba yun, ha? It's long,
Yeah.
and also it's also a prayer. So,
Okay.
double
Double,
positivity.
again, but
Double
remember,
benefit.
we're training them. We're we're making their foundation more solid when they're young. So when they grow up, they will become better. So
Yes.
parents, right now, ask your children to write in cursive, and the key word here is legible. Not perfect, legible.
Legible.
You must,
Basa lang.
you must be able to read what's
Read it.
written. You remember, my parents always ask me, my mother especially, write legibly. Pangit ang sulat mo. There is a sense to that. Now, okay, let me explain what is the advantage of handwriting. Kanina sinabi ni Betty, the art of handwriting. In the future, baka this might become the ancient art of handwriting if we continue doing typewriting and mobile phone.
Correct.
Okay. Number one, if you do handwriting, you become more intelligent.
Oh,
Believe it
wow.
or not.
It's a good
Why?
takeaway already.
Because number one, when you write, you use your eyes, you use your hands,
Yeah.
diba? And you use your brain.
Yes.
So you use a lot of senses. Okay. Number two, if you handwrite, it improves your concentration. It improves your concentration. Because right now, if you're
Focus,
typing, it's probably a habit already. But if you write, it improves your concentration. Because our brain is a muscle, remember. Use it or lose it.
Oh,
If you notice mga old ladies in Hong Kong or in China, they play mahjong.
yes,
Diba?
yes, medyo.
So they use their brain. That's why they're long life. Diba?
Yes,
Kaya
correct.
nga,
Correct. Yung palang
if you
sikat ng
are-
grandmother ko, ano yun, hanggang sa nag-retire, hanggang sa nawala. Mahjong.
Yung memory, you polish the memory
Yes.
with,
Yes.
and then with strategies.
Tuturuan ako ni Ma'am Betty niya, hindi marunong mag-mahjong eh. I grew up seeing my parents, my grandparents, pero hindi ako
Mag-retire ka
mahilig.
na.
Yes.
Well, ako
Sige
marunong
po.
ako mag-mahjong pero mahilig matalo kaya hindi na ako. Hindi ako
So actually,
nagmamahjong.
mahjong is an example, but
Yes, sir.
what I mean is use your brain.
Yes,
Use
yes.
your brain. Whether senior, use your brain. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Okay?
So writing, yung handwriting pala, helps us exercise, parang ano rin to pala,
Yeah.
exercise, alam mo yung sakit ng mga senior citizen,
Alzheimer.
Alzheimer, anti-Alzheimer pala to, therapy rin pala
Yes,
to.
yes,
Wow.
because your brain is madaming neurons eh. So if you use your brain, the neurons will work together.
Okay.
Parang ano siya, also coordination, diba? Coordination of the hand, the
Good
eyes,
pala.
and the brain.
Okay. Another benefit of handwriting is it makes you more peaceful, more calm. If you notice that if you use typewriting, you point, right? But in handwriting, you're parang a conductor eh. You sway, sway. Diba? So
Pero-
there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm, there's a beat. So it slows down your metabolism so that you can reflect on yourself. There are people I think there's one that they call indignation day, that they write down all their concerns and they burn it that day. Diba? They
Tama,
burn that
tama.
day.
May mga ganong therapy. Mga ganong therapy.
That's a therapy. So remember, handwriting is a therapy itself. So again, if
Yes, sir.
especially like our age, second stage, or what do we have to do? We also write it. Try writing everything down. It helps our memory.
Journal, no? Journaling. You can journal.
Not journaling.
Yeah.
Can we write to become younger?
Staying young lang ba? Staying young.
We write so that we will have more energy, so that we can live longer.
Yes. And yung quality of life is quality of life.
Remember, writing is also an exercise. You have to exert effort. So again,
There is therapy nga in writing, di ba? Especially like, di ba, I remember sa olden times, they always like to write a diary. Diba? So when
Yes.
you write your diary, you also are, pag may sama ka ng loob, if you don't feel well, parang you're pouring it out so that in a sense,
Expression din. Expression.
in a sense, you get rid of them from your system. Tama.
but it's more than that, Betty. When you write it down, you might be able to get the answer because you
Sabagay, oo, tama. Yeah. Right.
So-
When they say nga when you are trying to solve a problem, 'di ba? You have to write down the pros and the cons kasi it's better that you can reflect on it better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pero
So
that's
now-
another na 'yon. That's another
Graphotherapy.
Graphotherapy na pwedeng magawa.
Okay. So now, let's say if you are emotionally concerned, that you have a problem, what I would recommend is you write something that's affirmative. Kunyari, you want to lose weight. You know, say, I will
Yes.
be lighter, blah, blah, blah. So you affirm, positive
Okay.
affirmation. Okay?
Ganun
So,
pala yun. So I should write, I will be lighter by... Sabi nila dapat measurable So I will be lighter by 2 kilos at the end of February. Parang gano'n.
Right. It has to be measurable. You have to put a date on that.
Oh yeah,
Parang
put a date.
affirm. Then you keep on writing every day. Every day. Now, they say that if you write 30 to 45 days, what will happen? It becomes a habit. And it's ingrained in your subconscious.
Lifestyle
And
na
you
yun.
will do it. You will do it.
Parang
So again,
focus
yes.
ka.
You will focus. So if you are emotionally stressed right now, write something nice. Something to help
Okay.
yourself. In affirmative tone, put a deadline, diba? And write it every day, at least for 30 to 45 days. And you will see changes in your state of mind. Now, one of the concerns, right, na sinabi, ang problema ko, wala akong pera. Diba? Diba, wala akong pera. The
Pag
important
nagsulat,
thing,
magkakapera ba?
yeah, you write it there. You write it there that I will have money. Diba? You write the concern, then
You're
probably
positive.
you can come up with the idea, where will I get the money? Diba? So you
From my neighbor. Ganyan, from my
Yeah,
neighbor.
private borrow, yeah. Or say, look for another job or go into business.
Yeah,
Magluto
go to
ka.
business. Oh,
Magluto ka. Tapos
Be a
bentahan mo yung neighbor mo.
Correct, diba? So there's a lot of ways, honest ways to earn money. Okay?
Yes.
That's why we have an increase of, I think, 88,000 online businesses in the Philippines.
Correct. Ngayon, no? Yes.
88. I forgot that I'm the president of Entrepreneur Society of the Philippines. So we encourage people to go into business. Diba?
Especially now, sir. Home
Yes.
base, maraming jobless. Ay, sir,
Correct.
meron
Yes.
question dito lang before you continue, sir. Kanina pa to kay John Leo. Ito, isang graphic artist.
Okay.
Paano po kung magandang, teka, yung putol pala ito, yung kasunod pala. Senador, paano po kung maganda nga po yung writings po ninyo, meaning siguro yung penmanship, pero magulo po yung content or hindi maintindihan. What do you mean content? Yung laman ng sinusulat.
Siguro mga yung mga nasa loob, no? Actually, no, number one, if you write too perfect, masyadong perfect, no, that's that's a sign of compulsive,
Obsessive compulsive
OCD.
naman.
Yeah.
OC naman. Oo,
Compulsive.
yeah.
Okay.
Disorder din yan.
Regarding kay Mr. John, no, okay, it's good to write down everything, but what you need is you have to outline what you're thinking. So when you write it down, then you try to dissect what you're writing. Then you will understand better. Diba? Because what you're writing probably is mga subconscious. Subconscious is telling you what to write. But you can analyze your idea there. Go back and read it again. Lalabas yung mga ideas na gusto mo. Okay?
Parang you have a goal in mind din.
Yes, sir. Sir, before we segue to the sir, to your PowerPoint, sir, ito medyo go-workshop tayo eh. Can we take a break muna?
Okay,
so
sige.
Konting lang breather. Sige, sir. Nagsi lang naman po. Okay. Okay, we have some commercials here. Here we go.
Ikaw ba ay may problema dahil sa bad bacteria? Mayroong solusyon para sa'yo, huwag mag-alala. Subukan mo na para may good digestion ka. Haha, happy life sa 15 Biota. 15 Biota, para laging mas happy ako dyan.
Mahalagang paalala, ang 15 Biota ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Kung puso ang problema, break the bad habits. Move on na para sa healthy heartbeat. Sa Big 5-0, tara na, let's all be fit. Mega healthy sa Omega 963. Para sa heart nutrient deficiency. Sa Big 5-0, strong ang heart and body. Sa Big 5-0, nakamove on ka na't kumanda. Sa Big 5-0, puso mo ay alagang-alaga.
Mahalagang paalala, ang Big 5 o ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Anak, anong gusto mong juice? Ang gusto ko, veggie juice kasi gusto juice, gusto ng lahat. Ang veggie juice na pampasigla ng katawan. Nasa gusto na ang lahat. May gulay na, may prutas pa. Ito na ang sustansya. Vitamin ay kumpleto. Ikaw ma, gusto mo? Uminom na ng isang baso ng sustansya. Kumpletong sigla para sa ating pamilya. Gusto Veggie Juice, your yummy veggie drink. No approved therapeutic claims.
Okay. Yun.
We're back.
Yes, we are back, sir. And continuing with your, sir.
There's a
Yes, sir.
term, a sound mind in a sound body. So if
Yes,
your mind is good, then your body will also be good. Diba? So dapat both of them complement each other. Okay, can we go to the next slide, no?
Yes, sir.
Next slide. These are some tips, no, na to determine the type of handwriting you have. Okay, the first question is, who is moodier, A or B?
A.
Correct, A is moodier. So if you want to be more calm, you write like B. So in short, it's steady. So let's go to the next slide. Who is more introverted? Meaning who is outgoing? A or B?
B.
Correct, B. B, if you notice, the circle is bigger. If you notice, mga president, mga artists, normally their signature handwriting malaki. Okay? So now, let's go to the next is, okay, the question here is, who likes to be in the middle of everything?
B.
B, okay, because nasa middle. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Who is feeling more aggressive, A or B?
B.
B.
B. Okay, whose signature is B? The
Donald
signature,
Trump, diba?
di ba si Trump? Ayun.
Si
Donald.
ex-president. Yeah.
Yeah, so si President Trump. So that's why he's very aggressive. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Who is feeling more depressed? A or B?
A.
B.
Ako pag
Okay.
A. Pag mali sagot ko nito, babalik yung certificate ko.
Ay, meron pala insert dito.
The answer
Ay,
correct si Betty is A because it's going down. So if your handwriting is going down, ibig sabihin you're depressed. Si Duterte, remember, his signature is going up. So is Jose Rizal. So ibig sabihin they're positive.
Okay.
Okay, so next slide. Who is feeling more uptight and narrow-minded? A or B?
A.
A.
A, correct. It's A. Kasi, di ba? Matipid eh. Matipid. So, pag sulat mo matipid, ibig sabihin, kuripot ka. In a way. Okay, let's go to the next. Who is holding back his feeling? A or B?
A ito, paatras yung slash eh. Paatras yung slash.
A, sige. Okay, the answer is letter A. Correct. Because
Backslash kasi
he or he's withholding his emotion. So if your handwriting is to the left, ibig sabihin, normally you do not display your emotion.
May nakita nga, may mga ganyan nga sir, na mga handwriting, medyo patayo na medyo nakalean towards the left.
The left people, well, if you're left leaning, ibig sabihin, puro utak ang ano, you use your brain rather than your heart. Yung letter B is
logical.
Yung letter B is you are emotional compassionate. Katulad sa'yo, DJ Raymond. Right now, is compassionate. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Who is feeling more economical? Tipid. A or B?
A.
A, correct. Matipid eh. Sayang ang papel, no? If you notice.
One line lang eh. Pero linear din ba yan, sir? Yung ganyan,
Ano?
linear din ba isip niyan? Isang line
Pwede
lang.
rin. Pero the reason here is how you use your paper also determines whether you're kuripot or not. Diba? Or prudent.
Prudent.
Yeah. Pero in life, we would like to be balanced eh. So like for
Correct.
example, di ba, if masyadong maliit or masyadong siksik yung sulat, we would like people to be more, para through handwriting, pwedeng lakihan niya yung sulat niya, para hindi siya ganong ka-economical, di ba? Siyempre, there's something good with being economical, pero kaya lang kasi kung Mr. Scrooge ka naman, di masyado naman you will not be good to yourself as well as to the people around you. Everything has to be balanced.
Good observation yan, ah. Okay. What is graphotherapy? Graphotherapy is changing your handwriting so that you become better.
Ako may pag-asa pa pala sir, may pag-asa pa. Hindi, all hope is not lost. Like, kung pala ba, di ba may kasabihan tayo, yung sweatmanship is like parang kinahig ng manok. Kinahig ng manok.
Maliliit, di ba? Lalo pa din lakihan.
Okay, ganito, that's a good observation. No? Normally, a graphotherapist, we ask, no, what do you want to change? Your personality. I will give you an example. Si Trump, if I were to ask that question, I don't think he will want to change. Because yan ang ugali niya and he is successful using that. Diba? So, graphology, we always ask the person, no, pag gusto pagbabago, para pwede namin tulungan ka.
But if you come from that person.
Correct. So if he feels there's nothing wrong, then we do not need to change. Yan lang. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I have one student, as honor student of UE. One of my students in graphology. So she's very shy. Honor student siya. So I asked her to change her handwriting. So she did change. Every time I have a seminar and I will ask somebody to talk about her testimony, I will ask her, believe it or not, without a blink of eye, she will go up and explain. Dati ayaw. So ibig sabihin, it can make you better. Graphology. Again, depende sa tao kung anong gusto niya pagbabago. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, who ventures more out?
Ventures out.
Medyo mahirap to.
A or B?
B.
B, correct, B. Because yun ay nasa, normally if you are to the left,
siya
ibig sabihin pass eh. Yeah.
Safe side. Parang nasa safe side ka.
Yeah, the center means you're at present. Yeah. So you're okay, let's go to the next slide.
Oh,
Who
it's
is
more
feeling
organized.
more organized? A or B?
B.
Siyempre,
B. Okay.
Oh,
Graphology is what we call sixth sense, common sense. Because based on this knowing, pwede kayo maging graphologist na. Diba? Common sense lang yan eh. So now, these are some ways that you can look at your own handwriting. Can we go to the next slide?
Ay, yung Jimmy, what you're saying about the sixth sense, common sense sa handwriting.
Yes.
In certain ways there are, but certain ways hindi din eh, kasi there are some strokes that are that have undergone probably a science-based na theory. That's why the theory is like that, di ba?
Okay, very good observation. No? Let's take Montessori in here in Green Hills. They have their own style of graphology. Diba? So most of the students in Montessori are very creative. Now, in the US, they say they use handwriting the Palmer method. So that's what we use here, the Palmer method, the way to write longhand or script. Okay? Yes, there are ways that people change their style of handwriting. But when you change the style, you also change their personality. Diba? Ganyan yan eh. So depending on the school that teaches handwriting. Okay. Let's go to the next slide.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
signatures na.
The loop. Ito yung sinasabi ko. Oo.
You know, katulad itong Y neto,
Yes, sir.
normally when I have a seminar, I said, who of you writes the letter Y like that? If you notice the Y or G, mahaba pababa, no? Ano ibig sabihin? Strong sex drive. Wow. Ano yan? Tapos yung number 2, if your Y or G is balloon, it means that you have sexual imagination.
Kailangan pag-uwi niya pa na, makapuli kayo dyan.
Okay, another example of how to interpret that yourself. If you like to draw a flower, ibig sabihin you're lovable, but you underestimate yourself. If you like to draw faces, if you are a girl and you like to draw pretty faces, ibig sabihin you're feminine. But if you're a guy that likes to draw feminine faces, ibig sabihin you're feminine. Yeah. Now, another example, if you want to you like to draw crocodiles, snake. Wow.
Yun, pang-congress ka niyan.
Now, if you like to draw crocodile or snake, ibig sabihin you're sexually fascinated. So, ibig sabihin every drawing, every stroke may meaning yan. Okay. So, again,
Yes, sir.
Graphology is so simple to learn, but there's a lot of things to learn. This is just only the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, sir. Introduction pa lang tayo, no?
Okay.
Kaya nga sabi ko kasi kay Sir Jimmy, yung webinars na, buti nga ngayon, webinars na eh. He should do grapho. It's nice to have graphotherapy classes. Kasi you will, so that we can help people change for the better.
Correct.
Baka pwede sponsor ng health revolution.
Correct, but I think the first thing is graphology. We
Graphology.
teach people how to read themselves first.
Okay. Sir, may
Because-
question ako dyan, sir.
Yes.
Diba, para bang, di ba, like a musician was a perfect pitch, or para bang, may kahapon na ba yun? Yung bang mga veterinarians, animal doctors, kasi nga, tinuruan sa kanila, dissect nila yung mga animals, even the chicken that we eat. So,
Yes.
kasi pag nagkaroon ka ng revelation, di ba, medyo mahirap yan. May na-meet ka, ganun siya magsulat, parang medyo, meron ka na kagad, interpretation. How can you balance that? Di ba, parang nakakatakot yan, in a way.
Ganito, no? Number one is 20 years ago, there was a survey. If you are given a superpower, what would the superpower be? So some people say walk through the wall, to be able to fly. But the number one 20 years ago, to be able to read the mind of other people.
Yes.
And that is
Yeah,
what graphology does. We read your mind.
Oh,
Sometimes yung mga ibang kaibigan natatakot sa akin eh. Dumating na siya kahit ako.
ay, sir, pero kilala ko yung anak ng friend ko yung mind reader siya yung mind, nag-feature nga siya sa ABC5. Naging guest ko last year actually, live. Noong natakal na, sa isang Christmas party namin, nag-demo yun. Pero, tapos nagkataon, yung palang may common friend kami, invite siya. Talagang on air, on live TV, ginagawa niya. Yung pala, maybe this is one of the skills that he has learned. Di ba?
Yeah, that's what we call mentalist.
Ayun, mentalist. Oo, tinuturo yung
Mentalist.
mentalism. Oo. Yeah, I remember.
Partly, yung training namin is to be a mentalist also.
Oh.
But ang maganda dito is, this one is naka-frozen, yung evidence. Because it's written down. I forgot, handwriting can also determine whether you're honest or not, whether you're telling the truth or not.
Naku, kailangan padaanin ng mga politiko dyan. Hindi naman lahat.
Pero Jimmy, I'm curious lang on the yung suicidal, 'di ba? Ano yung stroke that tells you that a person may be suicidal?
I suggest not to
Going
say
down.
it here
Ay.
because suicidal is
Baka
a
mamaya
very
gama.
baka mamaya makamali, disgrasya na.
Okay. But then it's nice to have the handwriting going up, 'di ba? A lot of people knows about this na kaya pansinin niyo ang daming signature ngayon pataas.
Yeah, but
Yes.
you should be careful. It doesn't mean pataas is always good. Kaya nga, it has to be, we have to look at it carefully. Diba? So it's not because pataas. Kasi if you're too high, you might fall. Diba?
Pwede naman siya
Okay.
level grounded.
So dapat
Parang medyo
yung
level
pataas,
headed.
tamang-tama.
Oo, sakto lang.
Tama-tama.
Yeah, I remember suggestion nga ni Sir Jimmy, di ba yung slash ni yung guhit ng long T ni Digong, mas maganda ibababa ng konti.
Konti lang.
Konti.
He will accomplish a lot of things more.
Okay. Alright. Okay,
Kasi
siguro.
parang
solicited
nung
advice yun. So,
So anyway, I think, yes.
your time. Oh, it's time already. Very interested si Ma'am Betty. Hindi napansin yung oras.
Oo nga
Yeah.
eh.
Anyway, let me recap. For mga parents, ask your children to start writing cursive.
Okay.
Start writing cursive. For those that are emotionally concerned, start writing affirmative statement in cursive. It will help you.
Tapos yun, magsulat siya ng affirmation, di ba yung tinutupi nila into parang yung stars na or something, di ba? Tapos sinushoot sa sa isang bottle.
Pwede
Like
rin, message in a
bottle of
bottle, yeah.
affirmations, something like that. Oo. So, those are very simple, simple graphotherapy tips, di ba? Oo. Pero, Jimmy, pwede ba mag-consult tayo yung mga tao? Just
And how can they get in touch with you, sir? For information, for
Yeah,
other,
okay.
if they want to
well,
dig into this. Yeah.
Okay, well, you can call me, you can email me at
Yun.
JK, Japan, Korea, Shanghai, Yankee, Bravo, Charlie at yahoo.com.
Yes. Sir, can you repeat that? JK.
SY, Shanghai, Yankee, Bravo, Charlie at yahoo.com. You can email me.
So that is JKSY Bravo.
Yes, Charlie.
Charlie.
Okay.
At yahoo.com. Yes, we do. Number one, normally what we will do is we start with a one-on-one reading, grapho reading.
Tama ba ito, sir?
Yeah, that's the correct email, yes.
Okay. JKC BC. All right.
Yeah.
Sige, sir.
A graphologist is not a manghuhula,
Yes,
but
sir.
our reading is very accurate. The 85%
Kaya nga,
accurate.
sir.
Si Raymond can attest to that.
Correct. Naging loadie ko nga si Sir Jimmy.
Pero hindi yan yung hindi yan yung for Jimmy it's more of a hobby na ngayon, no? Kasi Jimmy has a business. Hindi niya kina-career kasi he is more involved with the financing, insurance, di ba? Insurance.
Yes.
And then what else? Entrepreneurship, Toastmaster. By the way, Jimmy is also a Toastmaster.
Yes, we want to help people self-develop their communication skill. So if you want to be an influencer, you learn to communicate, and that's what Toastmaster is all about. So anybody who's interested to become a Toastmaster, just email me again. The same email address, and we will get in touch with you.
Yes, akala ko yung post office post. Yung pala posting. As in digital posting. Postmaster. Okay.
Online na ba, Sir Jimmy? Online na ba ang Toastmaster?
Yeah, Toastmaster is an international organization.
Oh, wow.
So every country has its own Toastmasters organization.
Website ba, sir, or Facebook page?
The meetings, diba?
Yes.
The meetings of Toastmaster are online na?
Right now, the meetings are online because bawal yung face-to-face as of the moment. But again, the Toastmaster teaches two things. It teaches communication skill, it teaches leadership, and it's cheaper than going to a speech class. Because there you're honing on your skills in communication and leadership.
Kasi hands-on, no? You are going to talk, right? You are trained to talk.
Correct. And your fellow members will evaluate you and suggest how to improve.
So this is sir pala, Postmaster Communication, yun ba yun?
Yes.
Postmaster Communication.
Yeah. But these are TOAST.
Toast.
Toast. Parang oven. You toast the bread.
Yeah,
Toastmaster.
Okay.
You toast the speaker. Ganon.
Ito, nakita ko kasi sinesearch ko ngayon sa Google. Communication and leaders. Okay. Toastmasters.org. Yeah, .org.
Correct. Actually, these things that we do is we try to help people become better. Yeah. Even graphology, we always say, you study graphology. First, analyze yourself before you are able to analyze other people. Diba? Then you improve yourself.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So these are mga social civic activities that I do, parang paying back to the society. And these are mga we are blessed by God with a lot of opportunities and benefits. So we do this to help other people.
Thank you so much, sir. Talagang may your tribe increase, Sir Jimmy. Noon, dami mga advocacies, involvement in giving back to the community, adding value to people. Yes.
Yeah, correct. Di ba sinabi, give and you shall receive.
That's right. Exactly.
Pay it forward ang sinasabi natin. Pay it forward.
Yes.
Ayun ang website nila, toastmasters.org.
Pero also, yung chapter Ano yung chapter ng sa'yo, G?
I have plenty of chapters.
Okay.
Pero mo sa PH lang.
Just email kami na lang. Just
Ayan,
email to me.
Anybody, yes.
Ayan sir, JKSYBC at yahoo.com.
yahoo.com. Just email to me and we would recommend the club nearest to that
Oo.
person.
Yeah.
Or kunyari, depende sa ano. So my club, we're going to forming is puro mga entrepreneurs. Diba? So aside from communication, leadership, we also network with each other. Yung negosyo.
Maganda yan, ha? Kinumbine na yung entrep and the Toastmasters. That's good.
Win-win
Especially
situation.
now sa online, remember, you should be able to present yourself.
Correct.
Yes.
Ako nga, napost ako ng ganyan eh. Kasi para mga tao, pag when you present yourself or attend a virtual meeting, maganda naman, hindi yung eyesore ko minsan or magulo, di ba? Kasi
Correct,
this is something that we have to learn. We have to adapt to this because this will be for, I think this will be for, for the rest of our lives. Eh. Yung
Yes.
ganitong virtual meetings. Okay, so we are wrapping up. Sir, kanina naibigay mo na eh. Sana lang, si Lubert nag-recording naman. Yung takeaway mo sir kanina, naibigay mo, ang ganda na eh. Ang ganda. So, we're going to repurpose that. I-upload namin sa YouTube channel ng My Big Ink PH. You search for it. Makikita natin yung mga ito at saka sa Facebook page din namin, HTV Philippines and My Big Ink tsaka Revolution. So, pwede nyo i-replay ito and yung mga takeaways, kinakat yan then para nakafocus ang mga takeaways doon naman sa My Big Ink PH sa YouTube. Ayun. Sir, anything more to say, to announce or sir? Kayo sir? Shout out or what? Sir, kayo? Like a parting message.
Well, parting message is, start, if all the the people selling mga ball pen, pencils, gel pens, if you gather together and start the advocacy of handwriting, I think it will help the Philippines improve the people, including the children, and also those that are emotionally concerned. Diba? Maganda yan advocacy.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, sir. Let's do
Very
it. Sige.
simple, no?
Do it.
Very simple but doable advocacy. Ayun.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, for your time.
Thank you so much.
So, to be here.
Solid yung 1 hour and 10 minutes namin.
More
Sobrang
than,
solid.
sumobra na tayo. But this is what's good with an online. We can talk, we can extend
Medyo
our...
extend, yeah. Correct.
Oo.
And actually,
There's
as we-
many things. There's many
invite
things
natin
that we
ulit.
can learn from
Invite natin ulit
Jimmy.
si Sir Jaime pag ulit some other time, no? Sir, may play kasi kami closing video pero sir invite ka namin ulit to dig deeper into this. Ang dami kong kanina naisip na gusto kong i-interject o tanong-tanong kaya lang hahaba tayo next time.
Because
Next
we are
time,
Interesting, talagang very broad, very interesting.
very,
This is something
very,
new
very,
to us.
with limited time, yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah.
Thank you,
So-
and blessed good afternoon, everybody.
Stay safe, sir. Stay
Stay
safe.
safe, everybody. Also, yeah.
Okay, see you again.
Yes, sir.
See you. Okay.
Play muna tayo ng closing video. Ma'am Betty, we'll be back pa rin to wrap up this. Okay. So, bye-bye. Sir Jimmy, say
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Alright, closing na tayo with closing with a bang. Grab music natin, rock music. Alright. Ayun, talagang sobrang dami natin natutunan kay Sir Jaime Siybauco, isang talagang tunay na loadie. Galing. So next week, ma'am, sino bang ating guest for next week?
I think next week
Ay, for
we have Dr.
dermatologist.
Kamitan. Oo.
Yes, wow.
Dr. Daisy Kamitan.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Napansin ko kasi nga, dumadami. Parang medyo nagkakanang white tayo dito. Lagi nag-iiba yung
Ganon,
color.
sa mga mask.
Yes, ma'am. Sa masks
Siguro kapag lumalabas ka, di ba, ganyan. So anyway, we'll talk about that next
Yo,
week.
very interesting.
So, see you all again next week.
Thank
and
you.
hope we have another hour of learnings as
Yep.
we bring you Health Revolution next Wednesday. Sige, thank you, Raymond. See you.
Okay, thank you guys, and stay safe always. Stay home. Mask, wear your mask, wear your shields as much as possible. Stay home lang tayo. Okay, God bless us. Stay safe, everyone.